Hey everybody, it's hwsteele. Today is, October 16th, 2020, which means it's been about a fortnight since I've done the last video, or released the last video, that is. And it's getting to the time of year here, not only in Texas, I was about to say it's getting to the time of year here in Texas, but it's getting to that time of year everywhere, where the nice cooler weather's starting to come in. Now in Texas, it takes us longer to get to that cool weather where we get it nice and sustained and not just a little blip of cool here and a little blip of cool there and then warm temperatures again. But now that we're in mid-October, we're getting to the point where there's basically nice temperatures all the time, and every once in a while we get a blip of warm weather. So we get nice beautiful sunsets this time of year. This is a picture of one of those. But anyway, in this video, I want to do two things. Number one, I'm going to make a quick announcement. And number two, I want to talk to you about W.D. Gann's 1929 forecast in a slightly different way than I had before. Okay, so the first one, the announcement is, I'm very seriously considering doing a membership section to the YouTube channel, in which people could pay for a membership to get access to videos that have slightly more in-depth content. I'm not 100% sure that I want to do that yet, but I'm leaning toward that now after some emails with several people. So I just wanted to go ahead and make that announcement that it's most likely going to happen, and probably by the end of the month I would start that. So if I do decide to do it, I will make further announcements and explain it in a bit more detail in future videos. And if I do decide to do that, I'm still going to release the videos like I have been all these years on the, in quotes, free YouTube channel section. So with that out of the way, I am going to bring up the 1929 annual stock forecast. We all know it, right? I've done a bunch of videos on this already talking about this and how special it is or isn't, and I won't get back into that. What I wanted to point out to you today is that while there's a bunch of little undulations here, ups, highs, and lows, moves from highs and lows, there are actually many fewer larger scale ones, and that's what I want to focus on in this video and just point a little bit out to you, and maybe it will spark an interest, and if it does, you can do further research in that area if you should desire to do so. So the first thing we notice is that it kind of trends down here into the end of March and then up to the end of May, beginning of June. Then it kind of moves sideways after that. Then it moves down into mid-September and then sideways till November, mid-November-ish, and then it moves down. So you could call it, if you don't acknowledge the sideways moves as sideways moves, and you're just looking for highs and lows to emulate the actual structure of these 50 points that are put on here and on this curve, as Gann called it, we'd have a high here, a low here, a high here, a low here, a high here, a low here, and then there's a double right here. So we would just actually say this is the high right here, and then the lows down here. And so this would be the lowest point here, and this would be the highest point here in this particular swing. And then this first part would essentially be cut off and it would be included in a previous swing, and this would be included in a future swing if in fact this turned out to be the low point. So we'll go with what we have right in front of us here, okay? So let me do this. Hold on, I'm going to pause the video. Okay, I just wanted to open up Notepad, but didn't want to bore you with that because I had to set the font so it was a little bit bigger. So let's go ahead and move that out of the way for a second here, and then we're going to bring up the calculator and we're going to calculate the difference between these two dates. The first point is January 12th. So it's 1/12/1929, and then the first bottom here is, we're just going to go ahead and use the first date given if he gives multiple dates. So we have the 28th, 29th, so we're just going to go ahead with March 28, 1929. and we have a difference of 75 days. So our first swing is 75 days. Our second swing, we're going to move this here to 328, and then the high was May 29, 529, because again we're using, if there's a number of days, we're using the first date given. Okay, make sense? All right, so we calculate this and we see that it's 62 days between those. So we do 62, 3 here. We have June 22nd, so we have 529, and here we have June 22nd, a difference of 24 days. So let's do 24 days. Then we have 4 right there. Now we have, let's see, change that to the 22nd, and then the high here is August 7th, which is 46 days. 46, 5 dash. All right, getting closer to the end here. 8, 7, and then the low here was, what was it, September 27th. So 9/27. Calculate, that's 51 days. Okay. Then our sixth swing will move up to, let's do 9/27. We'll call it November 2nd. 11. No, November 2nd. There we go. That's 36 days. And then number 7, we move down to, let's change this, 11/2/1929, down to December 23rd. All right. And that is, in fact, 51 days again. Now, okay, so we have 7, incidentally, that's interesting number that you should pay attention to. 7 main swings. Maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's not. And let's go ahead and add up all of these days. So we have 75 plus 62 plus 24, 46, 51, 36. Ooh, there we go. And 51 for a total of 345. Another much easier way we could have done that was by going January 12 and then this last day here. And we get 345 days. But I just wanted to go through that process to put that into your mind. So we have 7 days or 7 swings here on these days, but you'll notice that it's not a full year. It's 345 days, which is, if we add 20 days, that's 365. So it's 20 days short of a full year that these 7 swings occur in. Okay? So keep that in mind. So if we take, of course, if we have, 365 and divide it by 7, that's 52.142, which is 52 weeks in one day. But if we take that 345 and divide that by 7, we have 49.285, which is just 2 days right there. So it's 49 weeks, essentially, 49 and 2 days. Now, if we subtract out sorry, I was taking care of something on the side there. If we subtract out, excuse me, 6 of these 7, this becomes the number of days. In other words, it's another way of saying it is the average of each swing is 49.285 days. So the total length is 49.285 weeks, but since there are 7 swings, a week of swings in this year as shown to us, the average swing is 49.285 or 286, since that's a 7 days. So if we subtract out the 49, minus 49, we're left with that, and if we multiply that by 24, we get 6.857, or rounded 6.9 hours. So it's 49 days, 6.9 hours in each of the 7 swings on average, right? Because obviously there wasn't. The first swing had the most, the third swing had the least, and the fifth and seventh swing both had 51 days, or 1/7 of 360. Oops, don't want to do that yet. All right, so I'm not going to give you any more details about that. I will let you dig into that and research that, but there is something very special about that 345, 346, 347 day time frame, and maybe it has something to do with seasonal dates, and maybe it doesn't. I'll let you dig into that. Okay, so let's look into this a little bit more, shall we? 345 days times 7 is 2415 divided by 365.25, or a year, means we have 6.6 years. So if we subtract out the 6, we're left with that. Multiply that by 365.25, and that's 224-ish days. So 6 years in a Venus cycle. So if we subtract 365.25, it's 142 days shy of that last year, or making the 7th year. The last year is 142 days shy, essentially, of being 7 full years. So I just wanted to point that out to you also. So anyway, this is hwsteele, leaving you with a little bit of stuff to contemplate. And I will be talking to you in the next video. Hope you have a good weekend.